Welcome in, everybody. In this video we're gonna go through a couple of different projects. We're gonna pick up where we left off, removing the chimneys, show a little bit of the chute action where we were dumping the bricks from the attic and the second floor into the trailer. This ended up being a very labor intensive job, like I said in the last video, but this chute definitely made removing the bricks much easier. As the video progresses, we're going to show a little bit of the basement and where the chimney used to be, and then I'm going to go back in time a little bit and show some of the attic as it was when we first purchased the house. Toward the end of the video, we'll show you where it's at now and how it's looking. We are making progress even though it's slow. So this was in the kitchen. There used to be a wood cook stove in this kitchen. The chimney went all the way up to the attic from here and through the roof, of course, but we now have it all the way out. And as we were removing it down here in the basement, we did have a little partial collapse, but it was okay because we had it down to the floor in this area, the concrete floor down here. Still got a big mess to clean up though, so this is what the reason why we had to take this chimney out. As you notice, it was in bad shape, just crumbling. We just weren't comfortable leaving it in the house, so we took it all the way down to the floor. This is the way the attic was when we first looked at the house. There were no lights in the attic, so we couldn't really see what was going on, but it was a mess. What little bit of old insulation was in there was disgusting. There had been some kind of animals in and out of the house, and there was feces everywhere. So we had to get that out of there because we didn't want it to attract any more animals ever again. So as you can see, at this point we had the roof redone and the chimneys taken down below the roof. We wanted to avoid future leaks there. It looked like a pretty big mess, and it was a big job to vacuum out all that old insulation, but we eventually did get it all out. Like I said, it was disgusting. There were pipes and electrical wires run everywhere. You might notice some of the knob and tube wiring. All of that has since been removed. We finally got it completely rewired. We passed our rough-in electrical inspection, and that allowed us to proceed with the project. In the process of removing all of that old insulation though, I did almost fall through the ceiling one time. So that's what it looked like in the past. But eventually we were able to get it all out and cleaned up, and that way we could start putting back some new insulation. So this is midway through the project of removing the insulation before we even put our attic access in. And like I said, it probably took me a week or so. It was hot up there, couldn't breathe very good. It was a slow, tedious process getting all that old insulation out. And then once we did, like I said, had to begin rewiring the entire upstairs of the house. While we had the insulation out though, on hot days, that heat would just go straight through the roof, straight through that floor, and heat up the entire house. So we felt like we needed to get that upstairs done as quick as possible so we could hold in some of our cold air conditioning. This is what it looked like after it was completely vacuumed and rewired, and this is still in the process of getting it ready for insulation. You're going to see where the chimneys used to be. You're going to see some holes in the floor of the attic or the ceiling of the second floor that I had to do some repair work on. However, I didn't get any video of that, and that's pretty typical for how we do things. But there was where the one chimney that collapsed down into the basement used to be, and before we put insulation in, like I said, I had to cover up those holes. This chimney is in pretty decent condition, and it has some fireplaces, one on the first floor, one on the second floor, and since it's not in danger of falling, we just plugged that one off, and we're going to leave those fireplaces to maybe have some ventless gas logs there. But But as you can see, we've got all our wires run in the floor joist of the attic, and at this point we were real close to being ready to spray in some insulation. And as we've mentioned numerous times, we don't video everything, so this next video is gonna kind of skip ahead to the next step. And this is one I'm very, very happy with, because we now have blown in insulation. Should be between an R38 and an R30 where we're living. But yeah, so now we're going to be able to heat and cool our house a little bit more easily. Very, very happy to have all this insulation blown in. We did have an ordeal with the insulation blower. We bought the insulation from Lowe's, and if you buy 10 bags of the blow-in Owens Corning, then they give you 24 hours rental on the insulation blower for free. However, it didn't have the right hose, and when we got it to the house and plugged it up, it did not turn on. Was able to take the computer control mechanism apart and see that it was just a matter of a plug not being plugged up. So we plugged it up. It ended up working fine. Even though we had the wrong hose, we were still able to get the job done. I will say the harder part of the work though is whoever is loading the insulation blower. That's by far the hardest part of blowing in the insulation. And now for a little sneak peek, this is what our bathroom is looking like at this point. We're very pleased to have this much of it done, and hopefully someday the rest of the house will look as good. We really do appreciate all the views that you give us, so please, if you're enjoying our content, subscribe. If you haven't already, you might hit that notification bell as well, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching.